Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shooting It Straight with Donnie C. I am your host, Donnie C. I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you spending it with us, because time is valuable, and we understand that. And when I say we, I won't go into the French again, David. I did for a second.
He did it again.
David, welcome to the show. How are you today, David?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing good. Today is a very special day for us, Dave.
Yes.
We tried bringing up pictures. We tried bringing up videos. We're elaborating and learning how this whole thing works in this crazy world of podcasting. And today, we are doing something new also. We have a special guest today.
No way.
And I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this guest.
Yes.
And Dave, I don't know if you've ever heard me tell you this, but I've said this to my kids, I say it to my workers, I say it to a bunch of people. You surround yourself with stars, you're going to shine. You surround yourself with shit, you're going to stink. And that's just the way it is. I don't use the word shit with my kids. I usually say crap or, whatever.
Right.
But the person we have coming on, I haven't hung out with, but I've spoken to a couple times. And I got to be honest, every time from his podcasts to the stuff I hear, just talking to him, he surrounds himself with stars. And because of that, he shines. He shines on his own, but with everybody else around him, he knows how to build a foundation. And the gentleman we have with us is Marcus, the Maniac, McGhee. Marcus, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Thank you for coming on to the show with us. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to dig a little deeper into you. And that intro, I swear to Christ, you surround yourself with stars, you're going to shine, and you are the prime example of stuff like that.
No, it's true. It's true. That's just how life works, right? You put yourself around the people that you want to be most like, and it all rubs off. And then again, you feed that habit too, Yep,
it's exactly right. And I try and tell my kids that, and I hope they listen. But you're married, you have 4 kids, and we tell them as much as we want, and we hope that they listen. We hope that they hear us. But man, you never know. You never know.
That's all you can do is try to tell them and hope that they listen, and then let them fly the coop. It's just how it's gonna be.
And that's how you see it. Once they fly, you hope they stay in the air. If not, you come back home for a little bit. Come back to the nest. We'll take care of you for a little bit. Get you back out again.
Until them life experiences smack them in the face, and they're like, "Oh, that's what he meant when he told me that."
Yeah, Marcus, your kids are a little bit younger. I've got a 27-year-old, a 22-year-old, so I've got some older kids too. Yeah. I know you're thinking I don't look it. I know it. It's all right.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, 20, what?
So I've had the kids fly the coop and then come back and then fly the coop, but you hope that it sticks, and you never know. You never know, and if they come back, it's a blessing for a little while, and then you go, all right, I had enough. But you have 4 younger kids, right?
Yeah, so between 14 and 7. So honestly, in my group of people, that's older kids, considering that I'm 33. Everyone's like, wait, hold on, you got 4 kids and one's in high school? Yeah. How's that work? I'm like, I started young.
It's a gift and a curse, Marcus. A gift and a curse.
100%.
So your wife was a high school sweetheart, I believe, correct?
Yep. Yeah. We met up in high school, up in Anthem, when I moved up to Anthem, and, hit it off. And, I was back and forth, and I was all over the place as a young man. But, everything worked out. So it's been 17 years, going on 18 years.
That's a long time. I've been with my wife very much the same. And it's you look back, and we'll get into some of the other podcasts that you do. But I heard you talking about it, and you actually said that your MMA fighting, your UFC fighting, kind of goes along with the wifey, because there's a lot of struggles that we have. And Dave, I don't know if you saw it, but you'll attest to this also. There are times when no matter how much you love your wife, you're like, okay, I had enough. Like, I need a break. I need to step away from this situation, because no good is going to come out of what I'm saying or thinking or anything else. And that's when the true love of the love is when you realize how much you love them, because as much as you're angry, as much as you're frustrated and everything else, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
That's the rock. That's the one. That's and you're not going nowhere.
No. Yep. 100%. 100%.
And I heard you talking, and I was like, I understand the struggles. I understand, because you're with somebody for almost 20 years. You have your ups and your downs.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt.
Yeah, you look and you shake your head and go, I don't even know what to do. Like,
it's work. They say, marriage and all that. It's work, and they were not lying, because
it's another job.
Yeah, I've been with my wife probably about around the same amount of time, 17, 18 years, man, and we've been all over the place, man. But we're good. Yeah. We're good. Thank God we're good now, man. So it's
100%. Just looking forward to the next time we're down to come back up again, right?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the phrases you used, I think, was love is the way, but love is rough sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, and everyone thinks that's supposed to be easy. Everyone thinks that's supposed to be like simplistic, and it's just not that.
No, it's
sorry,
not,
my dogs are going crazy back here.
All good.
No, love is love. Love is, and the legit love will make it struggle, but those struggles are what makes the relationship so much stronger, because you have that foundation that you build off of, because of that solid that base that you have now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, 100%. And over time, we've learned how to deal with it. We've learned how to come to each other, communicate, and overcome those shortcomings. But that's just like a friend, right? And
exactly.
Going back to leading it back to MMA, that's one of the things. Like, MMA is not always it's been great the last, it's been great the last 6 months, but the last 10 years, it's been very, very hard and very daunting, and a lot of moments wanting to quit, wanting to run away, and staying disciplined and staying on it and staying vigorous about it and enjoying the process is hard during the time where you're going through it. It's similar to being in relationships. So it really does play hand in hand,
Yeah, no, it made a lot of sense when you were going through it. I never even thought of it like that. I never put it together like that. But what you were saying, and not just for MMA, but any career that you are making a career, not just a job. A job is a job. You can work your job, and you leave your job, you forget your job. But if it's a career, your career is your life. That's your marriage is your life. Your kids are your life. Like, those are they're all the same, and they all have struggles, and they all have the highlights. And it was great to actually hear that, because I never even thought about it until I heard you say that. And I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, that's awesome to put those two together like that.
Yep. Yeah. So, it all goes hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. So you're fighting now, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But you used to be a semi-pro skater. So, like, how did you tour and do things? Like, when you say semi-pro, how semi-pro? Like, what does that consist of?
So they say I was semi-pro, but I was just sponsored. Basically, okay. I had a bunch of sponsors. I was competing in different competitions around the state. I did compete in the competitions out of state too, and I traveled around a little bit, did a couple skate videos, but really just again, I didn't really have the funds, and I was more of a loner still. Like, I still kind of am, and I've been having a lot of success in it. And it leads to, but it's like I pay for a lot of the things that I'm getting publicity on nowadays. And back then I couldn't afford to pay for it. So I didn't really have much footage to send out or anything like that. But I had multiple sponsors around locally that were taking care of me. And I was competing, like I competed in the Vulcan Wild in the court. And I wasn't really a pro at this time, but I jumped in the Pro-Am section, and I placed 7th and qualified for finals in Texas as well. Wow. So that was pretty dope. So yeah, that's pretty much why I'd say that.
And I got to imagine when you were doing it, it wasn't as easy as it is now. Now, like, you have videos. I see you skating with some of our friends and stuff like that, some of our acquaintances that we both know and everything. And I'm like, oh, there he is. You just get your phone out, you record yourself now, and now you're everywhere. Like, it's ridiculous now compared to when we were growing up. Like, if you wanted to do anything, you really needed to do it. Like, it wasn't this simple.
No, not everyone had a camera in their pocket, Even the phones that we did have was like playing Snake with. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were like this big, a brick and everything else. They were more of a weapon than they were a phone. Yeah,
exactly. So I didn't get a lot of footage. That's the thing. I didn't get a lot of footage back then. I do have some videos that you can look up on YouTube of me skating back in the day, but yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of footage, unfortunately, just because I couldn't afford to get people out there, and I didn't have a big entourage of people to keep on, getting that footage out there. So kind of sucks, but at the same time, we can make new footage now, and it is more accessible. So
yeah. No, it's very cool. Very cool. I was surprised because I didn't realize how much. Like I knew that you skated, but I didn't realize how deep you went into it. Like how important it was to you. I just thought, well, he just goes out and he skates and has fun. But no, you were making something of it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought I was gonna be a pro skater long before being a fighter.
Right. Yeah. Well, you also went to college, I believe, too. You started out and you went to college. You almost went into the military at one point.
Yeah, so I did. That's what I was trying to do. I was lost. I was broke. I had 2 baby moms, one of which is my wife now. I had 2 children. I had one more on the way with my wife. I didn't know what I was doing, and I knew I needed to do something. So I was like, man, I just need some structure. So I went to go get in the military, and I was working full time at the time too. And it was just kind of crazy how it all worked out because none of that worked out. Honestly, I was trying to be the best I could be at it, and it just didn't work out. And started getting into MMA gym with the plans to fight, but not really. I didn't really know what I was doing. But slowly but surely, everything just became what it was, and it just evolved into me moving over to the lab and really chasing it as a dream.
That worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, there we go.
Listen, there's always a plan for you. You just don't always know what it is.
Exactly. You got to trust it.
That's right. As long as you roll with it and you just go, okay, I'll figure it out. We'll get there. We'll get there someday. I'm okay. Then it'll work out. You started doing some podcasts, which I got to be honest, when I first started watching you, it was Munchies with Marcus, and funny as fuck. Like I wasn't expecting when I was first introduced to you, the thought of you and everything else was like, oh, this a friend of mine, an MMA fighter, and all this. I'm thinking of this other image in my head, and then I was introduced. Like I saw that, and I clicked on that first, and I was like, oh, this dude's funny.
Yeah.
This dude's just chilling out, having a good time, having fun, and doing something with his life, and just having fun with it. And I laughed my ass off at a bunch of the stuff that you did, like Al Dente instead of Al Dente. Like, being Italian, I know it's hard to tell. Yeah. What's that?
I think that's my signature. That's what my buddies keep saying. My signature is pronouncing things wrong. Like I do it all the time, like regular day, brioche. Like I just.
Yeah, exactly. My wife busts my balls constantly because I come up with the wrong words or the wrong sayings, and she's like, "You're not saying that right." I'm like, "It's close enough. You know what I meant. Whatever."
Give me the brioche buns.
Right.
And Marcus, you did one thing with the Prego bottle that I was like, thank God somebody else out there does that. Because my wife, every time I do it, looks at me like I got 4 heads. You took the Prego bottle and you're like, I need some water. And you like mixed it up like nothing goes to waste. And I'm like, I do the same exact thing. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nah. It's like,
how you doing?
We're getting every drop of that bad boy.
Yeah, 100%. We gotta use that sauce. That's all can't go to waste,
And then your strainer. I was gonna buy you a new strainer after I saw the first 2 episodes. I was like, no, I can't. There's no way I can let him continue with that strainer.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a lot of editing going on in that video right now. He's like, I got 3 macaronis. Hold on, I got 3 more macaronis.
So it's so funny. Like the story behind that is my buddy was just getting into his place, and he has a really good kitchen because that's his kitchen that we use, right?
Oh, okay.
I wish it was my kitchen, but I don't live in a nice. Like I like my house. My house it fits my family, but it definitely is nice like that. I live in the hood a little bit,
Okay.
So, but he let me use his place, and but he had just moved in, so like literally those 2 episodes were him moving in. Barely had any dishes there, nothing, right?
Wow.
That's awesome.
So I just was rolling with it. I was like, let's go. I don't care. Let's do it. Like you got this little strainer.
That's it. I'm from Brooklyn. I understand the struggle is real. You use what you got and you make it work.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what it is. We're going to fix it and make it work.
Like, was the pasta good? Yeah, it was. All right, we're good then,
That's all we needed.
Do you plan on continuing those episodes? Because what do you drop them, like once a month or something like that, I saw?
So every other week right now I'm dropping them. I would like to get to the point where I'm dropping them every week. It's just I got to get that content. I just got to get everything dialed in because at the moment it's not cheap to do it, It's very worth it, and like I really enjoy the outcomes of it, but it's just not cheap and effective right now. So doing it every other week is the best way that we can do it right now. Yeah. But I am trying to get to the point where I would like to be dropping one every week. Right now I'm dropping a podcast one week, a cooking show next week, podcast, cooking show, and dropping them like that.
It's not like you got anything else going on in your life.
Yeah, nothing else. I should be able to do it, right?
Yeah, no worries. What's ois? Where did ois come from? What is that?
Yeah.
So that's a jiu-jitsu term, like a jiu-jitsu term. Like a lot of times, like when we break up or when they say anything, it's like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu term. We're like ois.
Okay.
Like
all
bow.
right. I was wondering. I heard you say it a couple times. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him because I don't know what that is. I'm like ois,
Yeah.
and then you spelled it out one time. I'm like, that's not how I would have spelled it.
I should probably learn what it actually means. I'm sure there's an actual meaning behind it, but like it's just something that has like I just got, and then I just keep saying out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, run with it.
Right, that's it. It basically means move, bitch, get out the way.
There you go. Yeah, that's our terminology for it.
Right, exactly. Okay. Episode 7. A little controversial for me because you were blurred out because you were naked in the intro. I was like, where did this come? You were karate chopping celery, you were stomping out carrots out the ground area. All of a sudden you're naked. I'm like, oh shit. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready.
All right. Well, spoiler alert. I still had my boxers on under the blur.
I figured as much. But I was like, yeah, I'm definitely bringing that up. And what's the latherer?
Oh, so basically when we're cutting weight, right? Usually you have a training partner who's with you helping you cut weight, and we put on like either it's like Abilene or Sweet Sweat is what we really use. A lot of us use Sweet Sweat, right? And it's like you just lather it on your body. So we lather it on each other so that they don't have to lather like all the good spots too, all up in the thighs and the gooch, all up in there, booty cheeks. So we
I need to get some of that too. I'm just saying I'm not cutting weight, but I should be a little bit.
So basically, me and my buddy always have a joke like I'm the latherer because like I don't have any issue whatsoever getting all up in there. Like I'm gonna make sure there's gonna be plenty of this Sweet Sweat everywhere it needs to be. Don't worry.
Right. Well, I'm gonna get into you cutting weight a little bit because I heard one of the weights that you cut and it was astronomical. We'll get to that in a second. But are you? The Punches with Pints is your other podcast.
Yep.
And you do that with Brett. How did you meet Brett? Because you guys seem like you guys are good friends. Like you guys are joking around. Like it's like me and Dave doing our podcast. We just know each other, and we've known each other. Me and Dave have known each other for years. But how do you and Brett know each other?
So it's so funny. Me and him actually met December of last year, and we met through my buddy Kyler Phillips, one of my best friends. And honestly,
we lost you for a second. Honestly, he's not going to tell us. That's what it is. He's not going to tell us. Marcus, we lost you for a minute. You're frozen. I don't know if you can hear us, but you froze. There you are. Okay, you're back. Welcome back.
Oh, you missed out? You missed me?
I missed the whole thing. We basically, you met through your friend, and then it went like that.
Yeah.
100%. So we met through my buddy, Kyler Phillips, one of my really good friends, Kyler Phillips, and he basically came up and hit me up one day. Was like, hey man, I got this awesome guy. He was like making it seem like they're best friends, but Kyler's that way, he's very funny in that way. And he gets me on video call with him, and I'm like, oh hey, nice to meet you, man. And Brett's looking at me like, hey bro, I don't even know this guy. and one long story short is we ended up linking up with Brett, and I was like, hey man, I wanted to do a after party for my fight out here when I was still fighting for LFA. Right. And he was down for it. We did an after party over there. It was pretty big, pretty fat. It was awesome. And then we were like, man, we really want to start getting some other stuff out there. Like fighting was I wasn't able to find fights like I needed to. So I was like, all right, I'm still going to be in shape, but I need to start doing something on a social media form so I can start getting my name out there a little bit more. And podcasting was one of the ones that we were really thinking about, that and the cooking show. And then just through me and him having a relationship over time, it was like, hey man, I'm going to start this cooking show, or I'm going to start this podcast. And I really would like for us to do it together, Right. So we partnered up at that point. We started using the Elevated Seltzer, which is his establishment. And then just kind of went from there, which is so funny because we don't actually get to hang out as much as we'd like to because we're both so busy all the time.
Yeah, his schedule's ridiculous too from all the podcasts. I'm like, I know what it's like running a business, and that sucks. But
yeah, and he hustles. He's a hustler, he's hustling hard. So
tell him, listen, Brett, if you're watching, which I hope you are, but if you're not, Marcus is going to tell you. Take time for your wife. Now they're married now, so take time for your wife. Take her out on a date, not to the job, not to get a nice meal at the restaurant. You literally have to take her out every once in a while. That's the key.
You might have to tell me that a couple times too.
It was difficult. It's very difficult for me and my wife to get out a lot, and over the years we've struggled with that because I work like you guys work, and Dave, you can attest for this. Dave works hard too. We're all just we go at 100. Like there's no 80%, 90%. It's if you're doing something, you're going 100, and you're going to give it everything you got, whether it's one thing, two things, three things, and you give everything 100% when you can.
Yeah, because one of the first things when Don came to me with doing the show, I was like, okay, so I got to juggle work, my wife, my kid, my activities, and a podcast. I'm like, sure, let me complicate my life a little more.
Yeah. I was like, why not? I do it. I got my work. I do side work. I do regular work. Now the podcast. I got my wife, my 4 kids, and everything else. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Unless you make time, you have to make time for the things that are important for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
100%.
I don't know about you, but you'll start to see it the way I see it now with Dave. Me and Dave started this. We're our 32nd episode now. Mm-hmm. And we have to spend time together now. Our friendship was always there, it's always strong, but he lives in New Jersey, I'm in Arizona, you're in Arizona. But it forces us to spend time together. Just like when you do the podcast with Brett now, it forces you to hang out with him. Yeah. You put it on your schedule, you look forward to it, you know you're going to have a good time, regardless of if you have a guest, if you don't have a guest or anything. It's just a fun time. He's back. Welcome back.
He's back.
We kept it rolling, baby. We kept it rolling. We're trained professionals.
Bo's kicking me out over here. I don't know what's going on, man.
I don't know. But we were just talking about how on your podcast you guys said that Phoenix is a big city and so busy because you and Brett were talking about it. And I'm from New York originally. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. And I just laughed. I'm like, Phoenix is a big city and so busy. I'm like, man, it's not even moving. It's got some stuff, but I was like, compared to New York, I'm like, no, it's not even close. I was chuckling. I was laughing. So
I hear about that all the time too. I'm really from Detroit. Anybody who moves out here always says it's not fast enough for them. I'm like, yeah, I hear you. It's a little different out here for sure, you know.
Right.
Fast. I mean, there's a lot happening, just not the same as back in the Midwest and the East, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a little different. But we'll jump into some of your fighting stuff now. And you started at 21, professional, or in MMA, I believe, correct? Or how did that work out for you?
Yep, as an amateur, I started at 21 years old.
Okay. Where did the Maniac come from?
So the Maniac came from, so I was actually tattooing at the time, just living recklessly still.
Okay.
And when I was my buddies that were tattoo artists with me, basically were like, hey man, we need to get you a nickname, you know? And I was like,
everybody cool has one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And one was like Lady Killer, and the other one was like, I don't know, but they were all talking about it. And I was like, they had thrown a couple of them out there, and then one of them was like, the Maniac. And I was like, yeah, but not for what you guys think, right? Because her book growing up was Maniac McGhee. My last name. So I was like, yeah, that's the one right there, too.
It fit.
It fit. So after that, I kind of stuck with it. And I've always been kind of like a little bit out there, you know. I've always been in the dangerous. I was always the one to step into danger, you know.
Right.
So like,
I understand.
Yep.
Dave, listen, Marcus. Dave was like, what do I call you, the Boy Scout?
Yeah, Boy Scout. That's what
I call Dave the Boy Scout because the shit me and you did, Dave did not do.
I did not.
It's like the yin and yang. It's me and Dave.
He was gang related, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Exactly, you're right.
Now, when you get into the MMA game, like you said, your first fight was an amateur or whatever. You can't just like say, "Hey, I want to fight," right? Like, do you have to get your club first, that you know, your group, and then train and then get your name out there to get your first fight? Like, how does that work?
No, you can literally just say, hey, I want to fight.
Is that right? Holy shit.
That's awesome. Is that what you did?
No, so kind of like that. So I went into the gym with that mentality, and then they told me, like, hey, man, you know, maybe you should train for a year, and then we'll talk about it, you know?
Okay.
And I was kind of like, all right, bet, because I got dropped for the first time ever. You know, I'd never been dropped out of all the street fights I had ever been in. Got dropped with a body shot. I was like, I never got hit with a body shot. All right, maybe he's right.
It's a different game.
Yeah. I was consistent though. I was consistent for about 2 months, just showing up, and then finally, one of my old like first coaches, Shannon Rich, came in and was like, "Hey man, I got this fight for you for a belt for an unsanctioned fight. Basically, it's like this unsanctioned fight in a cage in the middle of a bar in Mesa."
Perfect.
And I'm like it's like 3 days away from when he's telling me, you know. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm down, you know.
Yeah, come on. Right.
So I took the fight. I go in there. I weigh in against the guy, and obviously we go fight. And I ended up knocking the guy out in the second round.
Nice.
Belt. So it was kind of like that was the start for me. But it was supposed to be a year of training.
Right.
I was but honestly, a lot of these amateurs they'll find the gym, a smaller gym, and they'll just jump right in. And I'm not completely against that. But I also do, like, in this day and age, I have amateurs that I train right now that are brown belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. About to be a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they're amateurs right now that have been striking for years. Dangerous guys. So it's like, I don't think it's smart to do it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's scary. Because I like you, I was in a bunch of street fights and everything else, and I held my own too in the streets, but going in and even just boxing, I thought about boxing when I was younger and stuff like that. It's a different game. Once you learn to swivel and keep your head, like, no, it's a totally different game. The street rules are out. Like, so I could. What's that?
They really are. They really are. A lot of people think like that aggression is going to play too. But if you think about all of our street fights, they're usually over pretty quickly, you know.
Right.
Even though
it's a quick.
We're pretty quick, you know. But like you're in here with this guy, and it's just you and him. And he's got technique, and you got technique, and it's 3-minute rounds. You know, you're like, man, I never thought 3 minutes was so long.
Oh no! When I was a kid, my father used to we'd have just gloves, and he would have a timer. And I mean, I'm talking 10, 7 years old or whatever, and he would be like, okay, we're going 3-minute rounds. I go, okay. In my head, I'm like, yeah, whatever. So from an early age, I knew how long 3 minutes was, and that is no joke. 3 minutes is a long fucking time. The normal brain, when you're cooking 3 minutes is all right, I'm at 3 minutes. But you're fighting, and you're getting punched and hit and everything. 3 minutes is eternity.
It really is. It really is. You don't know it until someone's really teeing off, and you're like, man, I really got more time left in this round.
Right. Yeah.
Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
I didn't know belt.
50. It's been 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, are you allowed to skateboard and fight still? Not like there's no stipulations for you on this at all.
If there is, I haven't got called on it yet, so I'm gonna keep it that way.
I'll see if I can edit that part out. No.
I've been posting. And if you look back at like Donald Cerrone Fight Week is out there wakeboarding, snowboarding,
right.
Like, you know, what is skateboarding outside of fight camps? You know, like,
right.
Like, I think it's good. I think we're good. And I mean, if they do say something to me about it, I'll figure it out. But you know, I'm safe and making sure I'm making decisions. Like I'm not doing 10 stairs anymore. You know,
right. Yeah.
Hitting some flip tricks, you know, and calling it a day.
Right, yeah. Nice and easy. Now, your nice and easy is death to me and Dave. But yes, nice and easy. Kickflip. Dave, could you even just go straight on, like a straight line on a skateboard, you think?
On a skateboard, I probably could if I went nice and slow.
I'm the asshole that probably shouldn't, but I would try something, and then I would just get hurt. But that's just my stupidity and my ego going, yeah, I think I could try something. I used to be able to do it 20 years ago. I should be able to do it now.
Yeah.
Stupid fuck.
12-foot bull.
Yeah, exactly. So your training is absurd. And I know you're on, I don't want to call it light. You're like on light duty now. You're just training. You're twice a day.
Yeah, still.
Is your easy?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just normal. That's just normal training. That's not even camp. So
right.
Even outside of camp. Yep. Get in there in the morning. Get 2 or 3 hours in the morning. 2 hours in at night, and then whatever else we do in between time. But yeah, that's like doing that 5 days a week is pretty light.
Yeah, I know. I was hearing that and I go, listen, if I had to fight somebody for my life, I guess I would do that also. But in my head, I'm going, that's dedication, bro. That's dedication. And the balance that you have to balance out, like we said, all the other things in your life is incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I will say that one thing for sure. I always say that to people pretty regularly. I always let them know they're like, "Hey man, how do you?" I'm like, "Discipline for sure." But when you think about the fact that another man is about to try to beat you down, and whatever chance he gets, that's a lot of motivation as well, though. You know,
Hell
to keep
Hell
going.
yeah.
It can still happen even with all of the work done. But it's like at least if I work, maybe I can minimize how bad the beatdown. You know,
Right. And now, years ago, I don't know if this is a thing still or not, but years ago in boxing, they used to, and this is before MMA and UFC and everything else, I used to hear the stories of you weren't allowed to have sex before a fight or anything else. Now, I know you talked about having a tattoo and not getting the ink done prior to a fight or really working hard or anything else. Is there still that rule that you're not supposed to have sex or hook up with anybody or do anything with anybody prior to the fights? Or is that like, whatever?
You know, I think it's whatever, but I do follow it.
Yeah. Whatever.
You know, like, it's just that they always say your legs should be weak. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, and it's like you think about it, you're like, sometimes I will. I'm like, oh man, you know what? You know, obviously with the wife, I'm like, oh, Friday night we're trying to get down. I'm like, I don't know, I got 3 rounds tomorrow, babe, and
right.
Let's wait till after practice tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow. You're scheduling your shit now, right? You became like the woman. You're like when the man approaches the woman's like, yeah, maybe we'll try again later. You're like, honey. Tomorrow afternoon, we good. I got you, baby. I promise, I got you tomorrow. Okay. I didn't know if that was a myth or if that was real or not.
I had heard a rumor. I don't know if this was true. Or I don't know. Maybe you shed some light on it. Like in the training camps or whatever, that they would or certain groups, if when you're grappling or whatever, they would not basically put you to sleep, so that you wouldn't want that to happen to you inside the ring. You know what I mean? So that you would definitely, like, you're going to sleep, you don't want to go to sleep again. So you'll do everything you can to stop that. Is that a thing, or have you ever experienced any of that shit? Or
no, I have put people to sleep, but that's only because they didn't tap. I'm tapping.
So they'll learn to tap next time.
I'm gonna tap. If I sleep in the gym, let's start over.
Yeah.
Let me get there again.
Yeah.
Try again. Do over.
I was like, that's some cold shit, man. Yeah.
What's that?
Some people are like, no, I refuse to tap, and they go
nights.
I'm like,
I'm good.
Are there females in the lab also working out around you, and do you guys spar together, or is that like, is that still separated, or is that just like whatever?
No, we spar with the females. Yep, there's
okay.
Maria Henderson, Jenna. I can't think of her last name right now. Leslie, Olivia, multiple girls that train in the gym with us. And we train good. Honestly, it's so funny though, because one thing that men have to learn is we have to learn how to control ourselves the right way, because like those girls don't play, bro. Even in sparring, they will take your head off and be like, oh, we're punching each other now.
Yeah. No, women don't give a fuck.
Oh wait, that's not cool. It's a girl, bro. Like, control yourself. It's like, dude, did you see her take my face off? Like, yeah, dude, but you're the so like deal with it, because girls really hold back, man. Any of those girls, I've been hit by all those girls probably really hard, and I've been like, whoa, okay, what?
I'm gonna put you to sleep. You're gonna tap out. I'm gonna put you to sleep. I ain't playing no more. You're gonna see the Maniac come to life. Speaking about the Maniac coming to life, when do you turn it on? What are you in the back and you're like, it's go, or is it when the cage door closes? Is that like, how does that work for you?
I think I honestly, how the Hulk says it's always on. Like, like I'm always angry. I really feel like there's part of me that like it doesn't take like it's just letting the switch go.
Right.
I have that different spot, but like. The one thing that I will say though is when I'm gonna get in a cage, I know that switch is on. Like I'm not pulling. I always tell my coach, I always tell everybody around me, is like one thing I'm not doing is I'm not pulling. But I train pulling stuff. So when it comes to the fight, like I don't feel bad. Don't get me wrong. I want the best for my opponents. I really want them to be healthy, and I want us both to be able to go back home. But there's one day every couple months that I'm not pulling shots, and that's when it comes to stepping in that cage. I'm not pulling anything. Whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen, and I don't expect the same thing from my opponent. So yeah, I do feel like the switch is already. I feel like the switch is already always on, but I just measure that switch. But especially when I step into that arena, when it's pretty much on. Like I'll joke and I'll be hanging out, having a good time. I think that's the difference between me too. Is like I don't necessarily get like, oh, I just time. I just go.
Yeah.
Stuff is a switch in my head where I go, it's time. Like we can joke, we can laugh and all that stuff, but if he leaves his face open, I'm gonna try to break it.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, even when they're lathering you up right before the fight, you're in the zone, but you're in your zone, and you're loose and you're ready to go, and you're ready. And what'd you call it? You said unleash the savage. That's the term you used. It's there, but it's just chill, just waiting, like a cobra waiting to strike, just chilling, and I think that's awesome. I love it. I love seeing you like that. So that's pretty cool. So kudos to you.
100%. I'm glad you see that because that's how I like to do. I like to feel good. Feel like this is what we love. Right? Sometimes we put too much. Like I don't need to be all that extra stuff to come out there and hurt a person. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there anyways. Like I have to hold it.
Yeah.
When it comes to letting it go, it's just like okay, well, this is good. We're about to find out.
And the fact that you not only your record is impeccable, 8-1, great record overall. But the fact that after you win a fight, the first thing you do is you check on the opponent. You good? You okay? Everything all right? I respect that. I respect that as a man. I respect that as a fighter. I respect that as just a human being. Like you exude being what humans supposed to be. Not that it is anymore. But it's supposed to be that, and I love that you do that because fighters nowadays, they don't do that. They don't respect each other enough like that, and this world is missing that in every aspect, whether it be fighting, workplace, politics, just anything and everything. We're missing that, and guys like you who put that out there on that platform, I hope it reaches the kids of tomorrow, and they go, shit, that's what we're supposed to do. We've seen it the other way, and that other way is fucked because this is important.
To his point, that's the first thing I noticed about your fights when I pulled them up. I'm like, this dude just knocked him out. So you celebrate because obviously you're up in the moment, man. You just knock somebody out. But then you're like, okay, let me go check on my guy. Let me see if he's okay and everything like that. I was like, dude, mad respect because you don't see that all the time. No. And it's very good to see, man, because you could tell that you're all about you're not out there to kill the guy. You're there. You got your job done. Now we got to make sure you're good.
As humans, as people, right? Because
yes, that's 100%.
That's the stage, right? And the most important thing, even with my platform, is I do want to show that you don't have like I'm not against any of these guys that are doing all that stuff too. Yeah, that's what do cool, and I'm not, and I can understand it. I can even understand where that comes from.
Marcus, how are we?
We are good now. I can hear you loud and clear.
We're back, baby.
Only 3 times.
Third time's a charm. So I was going to tell the story while you were gone, but Dave told me I should wait until you came back.
Yes.
About how you got the phone call to actually get into you, and I know you've talked about it before, but I really was intrigued by the story behind it about from the previous night where you were talking about having a dream and then the next day getting... So if you can, do you mind telling that story again? This way my viewers can hear it?
Yeah, I actually keep forgetting that was part of it too, but even more so than that being part of it, it's even trippier part of it from my brother-in-law. So basically, I was already being ready. I was looking for a fight on the regionals, but I knew it was going to be a short notice because nobody was taking fights against me. I was having a hard time. And then even the matchups that they were calling out were like crazy matchups, which I was still going to take because I didn't have a choice at the time, but they were crazy matchups. And so that Tuesday night, because they called me on Wednesday, that Tuesday night, I had a dream of me getting into the UFC and knocking somebody out. I had this it was like, so surreal. But when I woke up, I knew it was a dream. And honestly, I didn't even think about it. Like it didn't even It didn't re-register with me at all, you know. But prior to this, on Monday night, or no, Sunday night, my brother-in-law Max, his name Massimo is what we call him. He had told me that he had a dream on Sunday night of me getting into the UFC and then choking somebody out. So it was really right,
Yeah,
and that's what we were tripping because I had a bunch of knockouts. It made sense for me to imagine me knocking somebody out.
Of course, but to choke them out.
But the choke about was a whole other thing. And then Massimo had the dream of me choking him out.
That's
and then
awesome.
And then so they called me Wednesday, or they didn't call me. My coach called me. So Wednesday at I get done with doing jiu-jitsu at like maybe 10:30, 10:35, and I'm out back chit-chatting with one of my buddies from England, Jack. And we're talking, and he's like, yeah, man, you know, it's crazy and everything, but you're always ready anyways. You'll be ready. Don't worry. I'm like, yeah, I can fight this weekend. You know, that's all good. Like, and honestly, at this point, I'm saying it, and I was decent weight, but I'm saying it. I'm not really thinking anything of it. I get in my truck. I drive away, and when the moments my coach hits me up, he's like, hey, Marcus McGhee, we're fighting in Vegas this weekend. I was like, what? He's like, yep, you're getting called up to the big show. I was like, what? Yeah, so he was like, can you make weight by Friday? And I was like, it's Wednesday. Dang.
Yeah. Well, so with that, you were about to order some food that you shouldn't have eaten also.
Yeah.
You were just pulling up to the drive-thru, right?
No, not the drive-thru. Actually, I wasn't going to eat food that I shouldn't eat. I was going to eat way more than I should have because I was still going to go to Clean Eats and get good food, but I was going to get like 1,500 calories worth of it, you know, like.
Yeah, just going. I'm going. Yep.
100%. I was like, man, I had fasted, and honestly, I have a really good nutritionist. So like, I do fasting, but that's more just because I like to fast, you know. Right. But my nutritionist, Ancientarian Nutrition, he's really good and has kept me honest about my weight for a while. So he's taught me a lot in that aspect of it. But so my weight was really good and everything. But I was like, man, I'm about to go smash some food, man. I fasted for 3 days just about, and I was like, man, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. And then literally, I was about to hit 35th Avenue as coach was telling me about it. So it was either go straight on Bell Road and keep on going to Clean Eats, which is on Thunderbird and 59th, or take a left on Thunderbird on 35th Avenue and go home. And I hit that left turn, you know, and the story was written.
It was that close.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, me and you have worked on losing weight here and there and cut. Now, we don't cut weight. We don't lose it. We don't lather. We're not the latherer. But we have lost our weight here and there occasionally. Okay. I don't know how else to put this, but this motherfucker went from 176 pounds to 135 fucking pounds.
Wow.
Like, how long did it take you?
4.5 weeks.
4.5 weeks?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, what's your walking around like your normal non-fighting weight?
So if I was not fighting and not training or anything like that, I would be around that 175, 180 is probably what I walk around at.
His
you know,
comfy weight.
That's my comfy weight. My comfy weight is up there, you know. And honestly, I wouldn't know because I've been so active my whole life that I don't even know if I can get bigger because I still have abs at that weight, you know. I checked my weight today and I was like, dang, how am I still so heavy? I swear I'm in shape. I look ripped right now, you know. I'm like, this don't make no sense. But
I wish I had the same problem.
100%.
So why? All right, I don't know if this is a dumb question or whatever, but bantamweight is 135, right? That's what you're trying to get down to. If you know, like, why would you go down to that? You know what I mean? That's 40 pounds that you got to knock off. I'm sure that can't be easy, man.
and it's not. But if I do things right and I'm doing everything like I should be doing, and I'm eating just enough calories just to keep me training, and I'm not eating till my fulfillment. Because when I eat to my fulfillment, I'm well into the 60s, you know. But when I start a camp, I always try to start my camp under 160, like 158, you know, 157. So if I start my camp and I have 6 weeks and I'm diligent in that 6 weeks like I'm supposed to, it makes it a lot easier. It's just a problem. Like that fight in particular, what happened was I had just got severed from my job, and I took my MMA fight and I won that fight. And it was the first time I really had time. And it was my birthday, May 7th, and I fought on May 14th. So I was like, it was the first time I really had some time to enjoy my birthday. And I kind of went in, you know, we were going out.
If you get it while you can.
100%. And we were going in and we were doing our thing. And yeah, sure enough, so I fought I fought that Saturday or that Friday or that Saturday, and then was doing my thing all the way up until like Friday, and they called me on Friday and was like, "Hey, LFA's coming out here on July 1st, you know," and it's like May 21st at this point, you know. So, hey, they're coming out and they want you to fight this guy who's 6-1. I'm 4-1. I'm 4-0 at the time, and the guy was tough, you know. And they're like, yeah, they want you to fight this guy. And I'm like, 4 weeks. And I'm like, again, I don't get fights that often. Right. So I was like, yes, I'll take it, you know. Mm-hmm. Step on the scale, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, no. That's when you called your trainer up, like, we got some work to do.
100%. Yeah. So I hit him up, and I was like, hey, bro, we're heavy. He's like, bro, are you sure you're down? He's like, we can do this, but you're going to go through hell to do it. And I was like, let's go. So I did a 3-day fast right away. Again. Oof. Yep, that's the discipline. Mm-hmm.
So are you the type of fighter that needs to like fight consistently, like all the time? Like you want those fights, or do you value those? Like, you know, I'll take 2 fights a year or something, so my body can recover and stuff.
I'd like to at least do 4 fights a year. That's my plan. So if I'm planning on getting one more, they hit me up today about one, but they wanted me to fight again in 4 weeks from now. I'm like, oh man, hold on, like I need, you know, like. If I had been on, like, if my weight was a little lower, maybe I'd still take it. But still, we're in the UFC. We got to make smart decisions, you know. And
exactly.
And it's just not smart to do it like that, you know. And it's like, so that's the part of me that's like, okay, I got to be smart too. But yeah, for me, I want to be active. I want to be that guy who's fighting 4 or 5 times a year. I mean, God willing, I'm healthy, right? God willing, I'm healthy. But that's what I want to do. I don't really like being inactive, and it's not even for the fact that like I just need it to keep me going. I like the idea of being an active fighter. I don't like the idea of just, you know, popping in and out, and I want to make the most of the time I have in this game, you know. So it's like I would like to be 5 years down the line from here and get 20 fights in, you know, and get 15, 17 fights in, and have made a big splash and made some good money in the midst of it. So
yeah.
So you got go ahead. The goal is.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, dude.
Okay, sorry. When you got that call, you were probably like, yes, and then oh shit. Now I got. Did you know the guy that you were fighting, was it Journey Newsom? Right, that's who you had to fight. Did you know of him already, or did you have to do like real quick homework to try to, you know, see what you were getting into with this guy?
So I had heard him and I had seen him fight before, but I didn't remember it for sure. So I definitely went back because honestly, my coach didn't even tell me who it was at first. He just said, "Hey, are you ready to fight?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, be ready, go get your stuff ready." And I'm like, "All right, bet, click, get home."
It's go time.
100%. I get home. It's like 3 hours later. I'm like, "Shit, who am I fighting?"
Whoops.
So I hit coach up like, hey, first I looked up the fights and I was like, all right, who's at 135 that had their guy possibly pull out? Right. So I looked at fights and there was 2 options and I was like, okay, it's probably one of these guys. And then I hit up coach. I was like, hey, Journey Newsom or this other guy. And he's like, Journey Newsom. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's great. I mean, but that's the mentality though. As soon as you get that call, like you said, you're in it's the big show. Like, okay, here we go. I'm doing it. I don't care who it is. Like, that's not your first instinct. Your first instinct is, yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yep. 100%. I'm not even gonna lie and say that. I'm not even gonna lie and say my first instinct wasn't to, because the first instinct too was like, oh shit. Oh, is this serious? Are you trying to play me? Because I was just talking all that shit in the back, you know, awesome. And then the other thought was like, wait, we snap out of that, bro. Like, this is what we're here for. Like, yeah, you're getting out there. But the first part of me definitely was like, oh, man. Like,
So how does that work with the UFC? Do they have guys scouting you out in your the rough the rough events or the LFF events, like LFA events? Like, are they there watching you and they're like, okay, this dude's got some he's gonna be good at the UFC? Yeah. Is that how that works, or are you like consistently knocking on Dana White's door, like, hey, let me in?
Yeah, I think so. They do have scouters that do look around, like LFA and all these other organizations of people they want to bring in. But very seldomly do a guy like me, they just bring him in with a scheduled fight. Usually a guy like me will get in there on like a short notice opportunity, you know, like something like that. Somebody fell out, they're higher on the ladder, they need a fight, and you step up to the fight, you know. Right. And that's kind of like what we kind of knew was a possibility there. And that's why I stayed ready too, was just like, you never know. It does happen quite often where people pull out the fight. And there's honestly not a lot of guys that are going to say yes to that, you know, even if it is getting into Yeah, you have to be ready. You have to be confident that you're going to be able to go in there, or at least be willing to get whooped. You know, be willing to go in there and get whooped real quick. You know.
Yeah, because it's not even just the physicality of it; it's the mental. Because Dave, I don't. How many fights have you gotten in your life, Dave?
Me zero.
Yeah, zero. Boy Scout. I'm telling you, Boy Scout, Marcus. Boy Scout.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. Come on, man.
Hey, but what's his name say though? You have to be a fighter to fight for the love. You know.
That's right. But the mental game going into that cage is different, or even just preparing, knowing that you're going into that. Because you could be physically prepared and you're like, yeah, I can fight. But then as soon as it's one-on-one and you're in a cage, you need to mentally okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I have an idea of what he's gonna do. I'm controlling me. I'm not gonna let him change my fighting tactics, and I'm gonna use what I know against him to the best of my ability. And that's a whole mental. That has nothing to do with physicality at all. And that mental game to prepare for that and train for that and everything, to me, I could work out. Not that I'm saying I could work out with you like that, but like I could work out and I get yoked out and everything. Yeah, great. But that mental preparation, that's a totally different workout. That's a totally different prep. And I can't imagine just getting that phone call like that and being like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, damn, I got to be ready. Like. Yeah. All of that has to be ready, not just the weight, not just the physicality, but the mental, and just know, okay, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna go strong, and I'm not worried about the outcome because I'm confident in who I am and what I can bring to this table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how I step into all my fights too. I think that it's a weapon. I think people are starting to see that that's a weapon for me because like I'm competitive. You know, it's not that I'm not competitive, but when it comes to actually stepping in the cage, I am there to compete, but I'm not in there to compete for wins or losses. I'm in there to compete with myself. I'm in there to compete with how I show up. If I'm showing up better, I'm in there for different things than a lot of other people. And some people are in there like, man, I just got to get this win. And it's like, that's just not my mentality. You know, I don't like to go in there and think that at all.
Right, and I don't understand how, and I don't think like that either. When I go in, and Dave, you can attest to this now, like, not a fight, but even just building this podcast and everything else, and how I focus on it and how I approach it, it's so different because anybody can just start talking. Anybody could just, I'm going to do a podcast and see what, but why? Why are we going to do a podcast? What is it? What is the purpose? What is it going to do? And you know, as humble as you are and as fierce as you are and everything else, at the same time, you balance that out and you try and spread love and joy and comfort to other people, other fighters and everybody else. And that's why I'm doing the podcast too. Me and Dave, we don't know what's going on in your day. I don't know what's going on in Dave's day or anybody else's day that might be watching this, but to bring a smile to their face, to make them laugh, to forget about their problems for that little bit, just that little bit, and go, okay, I was taken away. I'm kind of back to my center, my chi, my whatever you want to call it. Now I can go back and I can face these problems, these issues that we all have because every one of us battles them. We all know that. Yeah. And the fact that you do it in a fighting way and your mental is you go into that fight knowing I'm going to fight my fight and then I'm going to beat this guy up or do whatever I have to do to him and then check on him, make sure he's okay. Because your part of your mental game isn't just to win, it's to be the best you can be. And by being the best you, that's also rising other people up and making them shine, like I said from the beginning, making them shine also. So you go and you check, are you okay? Are you good? Like, that is a gift and a talent outside of MMA, outside of UFC, outside of everything else. Like, that's a gift. And I appreciate that gift because not a lot of people have that, and not a lot of people that do have it are able to get on a platform and spread that. Mm-hmm. And you do that, and that's awesome. And I appreciate that because I try and do the same thing similar to that, where I try and the people I'm around, I try and make them have a good day. Like you're not trying to really hurt anybody. You're trying to have them, we're here to fight. Are you okay? What's next? Yeah.
Are you good in life? I hope you have a good life. I hope that your family has a good future. Right. Like we're here for such a short speck of time, and like what we do with that speck of time is so much more important to me than all these achievements that I can get. Right. You know, so like for me in particular, I definitely go in there. I mean, I pray for my opponents. I pray for their team. I pray for all the staff at any of these events, like I really, and I do it in a way where I really do care. Like I do care. Like I'm going to go in when the cage shuts, definitely I'm going to be violent. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to be violent. But once the fight is over, like it's back to being in real life. And I've been in so many, like you said, like I've come from a place where it's like, like people don't do that. People don't show that type of empathy, that type of love. And, and for me, I've been really getting deeper into spiritualism and into my spiritualism is what it is. I would love to say religion, but it's not necessarily religion. It's my relationship with the man above, and his son. And that's what I've been 100%. And so I focus on that. And it's like pray for your enemies, feed your enemies. It's like, I want to exude those type of traits. Right. And then give the glory to him. Like, okay, doing that as a human is really hard, but doing that as faith in somebody something that's bigger than you was way better. And giving the praise to him, is way better for me. So I love the idea of doing it. And it's the most important thing out of all these things that I've been doing. Like that's my favorite out of all of it, So if all of it ended today, the fact that I was able to exude myself in those type of heightened moments and show love and care and charisma and just being charismatic, those are the things that matter so much more.
And it shows. I mean, Dave, I've spoken to you on the phone 2 times shortly, and Dave, this is the first time you've actually spoken to him and stuff like that. But I mean, just from seeing your podcast, just from speaking to you those couple times, I can sense that. I can see that. I can feel it. It's in the universe. It's not something that you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this guy. Like, you're pure of hearts, and if anybody says otherwise, I'm gonna fight them. Like, I got you. Like, and it ain't gonna be in no cage, bitch. This is Brooklyn style. Let's go.
The thing is, the beauty of podcasts are you get to know the individual on a personal level outside of what the media might spin them. Right. And that's why I dig podcasts, because I've recently just listened to all kinds of stuff. But like, who was it? Aaron Rodgers is on the Pat McAfee show or whatever like that. So everybody thinks Aaron Rodgers is an asshole. But when you listen to him on a week basis, man, he grows on you. You're like, you know what? He's not an asshole. You know what I mean? So like, you do get to know people on a personal level based on their shows and stuff. And that's why I'm glad they're out there. Comedians, whatever, they all have this great platform to get their meaning out there, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time, but what do you want to plug? I know you got some stuff that you've been working with. What do you got to plug for us? This way, let our viewers know, and this way, if they can, they'll jump on too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's been fun having and just kicking the can with you guys. It's a good time. We're definitely going to have to do it again too, and maybe bring you guys on to my podcast too, and do a little.
There you go.
I would love
double it up.
Okay.
So,
I'm definitely down 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. So Punches and Pints, my podcast that I'm working on right now. Munchies with Marcus, both of them are on YouTube. You can just type in either Munchies with Marcus or Punches and Pints, and it'll pop up on there. Please subscribe if you guys do. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. And then, secretly followed. There's a skateboard company out here. One of my really good buddies, Adrian Cano. Me and him skateboarded for a long time together. Grew up, and he started his skateboarding company, which was cool for me to see that. Bunch of cool different designs. We got 100%. He's awesome. And we're doing a skateboard crawl. So we're going to hit 3 parks out here in Arizona. I'll be posting more about it on my social media in the upcoming weeks. But we're going to hit 3 different parks. We're going to do a competition and raffles at each park. And we'll have some boards to give away. We'll have some drinks, some food. Just having a good time out there. Hopefully trying to get some more pro fighters out there. Also, I'd like to get some of the pro skaters out there as well. So hopefully I can do that. And then I'm also working on another project right now too, just trying to get get a factory going too. So, where I can, exude all the little traits that I do out here, all the little kinks and everything.
Yeah, Marcus is a gardener.
100%. 100%, So I got a couple things in the working right now that I'm really, really excited about and really looking forward to. So definitely.
And we didn't even touch on it. So if you want to do this again another time, we can touch on it and talk about it, because I know the science of all this stuff, and it's Dave. It's gonna blow your mind if you have another podcast with Marcus. You'll be the Boy Scouts gonna be like, what the fuck? What?
100%, man. I got the green thumb.
That's right.
If I may, I got one last question for you. When back to the UFC, when you got that call and you had to do that fight, when you got in the UFC ring, what was that feeling like, man? Was it like, all right, we made it? All that hard work we put in, all the training, all the fights leading up to this, we're here, man. Is that like, how was the emotions? How did you keep that in check going into the ring?
That's a good question.
So I didn't feel that at all.
Really?
And I think that's what helped me too, because even now I don't feel that way at all. And I really embody this whole like, hey, a new day, a new chapter. You know, it's like no matter what I did yesterday, tomorrow is still gonna come, and it's like a new slate. You know. So but one thing I will say about stepping into the cage, when I did step in there, I felt like I keep on saying it, but grateful and thankful and just present, right? So I felt like at home. And this last fight I just came in, more so than any of my regional fights for sure, wherever the fight goes, even if the fight was going to go bad, I remember thinking that multiple times, like, hey, look everybody in the face, look up and see where you're at right now. Take it all in, you know, because it could be gone tomorrow, you know, and it's like, did you make it? What's making it? You know, and when I look at my achievements and what I want to do in my life, you know, it's more so like the things that I'm doing afterward, helping people, donate, like the donation I did for my boy Abdul. You know, I really want to be able to build something that I could turn around and I could have my kids do, I can have my family members do. It helps the community. I want to be lucrative. I honestly want to have enough money to do the things I want to do and take my family and do nice things with them. But really, I just want to make a big impact. So looking around, I just told myself, like, look around, take all this in and enjoy it, you know, and be here for it. It's only 15 minutes. And all this training for all this time.
Not the way you're fighting, no, lately. It's only a couple minutes, first round, baby. Let's go.
Hey, is the end game to get in the ring with Sean O'Malley there? What are we doing here?
So that's not the end game? That's not the end game? That's my boy, man. You know, like, Sugar's my boy. We've been training together for a long time. Like, I would hate to have to fight him. You know, and the only time that would even be a possibility is, again, if I was a #1 contender and he was the champion. And even then, I don't, you know, I really, like, they got Marab and Aljamain and that whole thing. Like, I kind of agree with that. Like, I don't want to fight my teammates, you know. I don't really want to do that. It's not something I want to do. And, you know, like, again, if Sugar was like, hey, no, man, you need to fight me. You need to fight me. We're both going to make this paycheck. Come fight me. No problem. Then maybe it'd be different. But, like, if we really both are just like, bro, we don't want to fight, you know, it's like, man, and it really is. And it's like, at the same time, we do it already, too. So it's like, to do it for the fans, it's kind of like, it could bring bad blood between a relationship that's been built for 10 years. You know,
it ain't worth it.
No.
Yeah, it ain't worth
and that's
You're
how I feel about
now, so it ain't even worth it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So I'm not like, I really don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight Kyler. I don't want to fight Mario. Any of my boys, I don't want to fight them, man.
You train with them on a regular anyway, so it's like he's a fighting anyway, just at a lesser level.
100%. So we all kind of agree on that. And I mean, it would take a lot. It would take me somehow getting up to the top really quickly for that to even be in the conversation, you know? So it's not something I think about, you know, and again, if it gets there, we'll approach it then, but it's definitely not something I'm interested in. I don't want to fight him.
Do you have an upcoming fight on the horizon or no?
So I just told them I want November, because they wanted me to fight the guy that I was going to fight that pulled out on me, and they wanted me to fight him in October, but that's just too quick. You know, I need to give me 6 to 8 weeks, you know. So I really want November, early November. I'm down for December too, if we can do December. You know, I want one more for sure this year. I would just like to have somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks for a full camp, you know.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I don't know when it's gonna be, but Dave living in Jersey, he probably won't be out here. But I'm gonna try and make it to the party this time. I didn't make it to the party last time. I'm gonna hang out with Brett. I'm gonna try and hang out, have a couple drinks over there, have some slushies over there.
Hey, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Don't forget the nachos. You gotta get the nachos.
I know the nachos. I was gonna bring that up during the pod. I wrote it down. I was like, I gotta remember to bring up the nachos. I heard the nachos and your chicken sandwiches for the wife.
Yeah, I honestly, I always take a couple bites of it with the truffle fries too. But the nachos are for me.
The nachos are fire. Okay. All right. I'll definitely go out there and check it out. Marcus, thank you so much. Guys, subscribe to the show. Hit the like button. Ring the bell. Listen, Maniac it was
awesome.
a pleasure having you. It really was, and we had such a blast. And I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this with us. I hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah, I had a blast, man. We definitely got to do it again. Go out there, get another one done, and then I'll jump on with you guys. You guys can jump on with me, and we'll definitely do we'll do the whole thing.
We'll collab, baby. I got you. We're in. All right. Everybody, I hope you have a good time. I hope you're having a good life, and enjoy the rest of your day. So, peace out, everybody. Right, Dave?
Yeah, peace, everybody.